Hi everyone, welcome again to another Teacher Joseph video clip. In my weekly lesson this week on the first line, I think, or the second line, I've made reference to something which is hard and fast, a hard and fast rule. Something which is hard and fast means something which is unchangeable, unmovable. And we usually use this when we're talking about rules. You might have an opinion that's hard and fast. I don't have an opinion about what a British man is supposed to look like or act like. I don't have hard or fast rules about that kind of thing. It might be that maybe you have a hard or fast rule about some things in your life. Maybe the time that your children should be home. You have a hard and fast rule that they should be in bed by 10 o'clock. Maybe you have a hard and fast rule about the amount of food or sweets your children can eat, the amount of candies. The confusion with this is sometimes because of the word fast, because some people think fast just means speed, to move fast. But actually, in Old English, fast was something else. It was associated more with something which was joined to something else that couldn't be moved. Let me explain. On my shirt, there's a button and a hole, and I could fasten that. You see, now it's fastened. And that's associated with the old word fast. Fast, to fasten. And fasten is when you take two things and you put them together in a way that they can't be separated, although maybe I didn't fasten this properly. The T there is silent. Fasten, fasten. It looks like fasten, but it's actually fasten. That's the verb. When you button something up, it's fastening. It was an old industrial word. So you see, hard and fast comes from our boating days when we used to send ships all over the world. When they would get stuck in the mud and they couldn't move, we would say hard and fast. The ship is hard and fast in the mud, it can't move. And over time, we used the same expression as a metaphor when we have views that don't move. Well, in listening to some of your comments this week and receiving some of your messages, it seems that many of you have hard and fast views of what a British man should be like. Some of you have told me that you perhaps thought that British people were very close to their traditions. And I think this comes from reading some of our older books. It is certainly true that my parents' generation and probably some of the older people around today would generally associate within their own group of people they went to school with, maybe, or their own group uh, of a particular economic or educational level. But everywhere now, we find diversity, not only with skin color, but also with sexual orientation, for example, um, different ways that people look, So here in the UK, there is no stereotype of that British man who's white, Christian, and at 5 o'clock drinks tea. I'm not sure that ever existed, to be honest, bearing in mind the British Empire crossed huge chunks of the world. You will find, of course, in small villages and towns here that um, the, there exists some groups of people who look the same, act the same, and speak the same. But I feel sorry for those kinds of people because when you move in those kind of atmospheres, it's very narrow. City life offers you the opportunity to meet people from different backgrounds, different economic status, people who are so different from you in other ways. And this in turn helps us to be more open minded. I was mentioning in my podcast that I received a message. Of course, the sender was well hidden, so I wasn't able to understand who it was from. And they basically said to me, why would you want to associate with people like that? Referring to my British born Pakistani friend. And my answer is simply, why would you think that he's any different from me? He's British. We're on the same economic level. We had the same hopes and dreams about the future. So I'm not sure why some of you would struggle to understand that to be British is to be diverse. I do understand not everyone likes that, but it's the way we are. And at least for the moment, that's the dominant thinking. And it's good. There's many advantages to it. That's why I was a little bit sad when Brexit happened, because it meant that people were no longer able to simply go and live in other states. But it doesn't stop there. What happens next? When people see me, for example, with this musical instrument behind me, which is called the organ, they sometimes say, oh, I didn't expect you to be doing that because you're a teacher. So the teacher isn't allowed to play music. Oh, I didn't expect an English teacher to be doing that. So I think a lot of the problems we have are with our expectations, our stereotypes, and these kinds of things. I remember recently I was chatting to a Catholic priest, and we always expect them to be very religious and somehow to be very, very sober and serious. And he started talking to me about Taylor Swift. I mean, I was expecting him to ask me why I wasn't at the church regularly. That's usually what they do, isn't it? So I was a bit uncomfortable with him. And then he started to tell me how he's a Swiftie. Apparently, according to Wikipedia, and I did check, a Swiftie is someone who loves Taylor Swift. And he went on and on and on about Taylor Swift, how great she is, what a wonderful, wonderful person, and everything else. And it left me thinking, that's really strange. I didn't expect that from that man. I expected him to be making me feel guilty about not going to the church so often. So you see, we are all in different mindsets. And the only thing that's changing is that people don't meet the expectations we had of them. And once we let go of the expectations, it becomes much easier to watch people grow. And it's the very same with your English, you know. If you think my English will be bad, I'm not going to enjoy this, then you won't because you're not allowing yourself to grow. And it's really very important when you come to the table of English to try to stay open minded. This is the beauty of learning languages They force us to be more open minded, not only because of idioms and grammar constructions, but also because we suddenly find that we are walking between two worlds, two groups of people who are very different. But once you get to know them, you soon realize that they're not so different after all. Maybe the political systems we live in are different. Maybe our skin color is different. But we all want the same thing, and that is some level of joy, some level of happiness, some level of contentment, and well, a little bit of money or more money would be nice also. So we're all looking for that same sense of satisfaction, trying to make sense of this crazy world we live in. Well, that's all I wanted to say today. So I hope you've enjoyed this. Let's talk again soon. See you. Bye.